Hi class. You know it's really difficult. Something that I have to deal with every day is not being perfect. And it's so hard when you're surrounded by something, many things that are all perfect all around you and you just can't be perfect. Like those perfect square numbers. Those perfect square numbers make me feel so bad that I can't have a nice integer square root, and they can. They make me feel so bad about it. Look at them. All high and mighty. You think you're better than other numbers, huh? Always laughing at others, making them feel less than perfect. I've had enough. It's just part of being human. You can't be perfect. Unlike them. Look at how they putt. This is my cartwheel. And this is theirs. Wow, such perfection. Everywhere I go, I'm reminded that I'm not perfect. But there are things out there that are. Some nights when I'm just not feeling the best, I'll just take my calculator out here and just scroll through the perfect squares. See what it'd be like to have a nice whole number square root, like 64 has a square root of 8. But then I remember there are an infinite number of numbers that don't have these nice square roots. Let's look at the number 2. Such a nice number. And then we take the square root of it. And look what happens. 1.41421356, etc., etc. So irrational. Why does square rooting have to be so cruel? All right, class. So I hope you've already figured out that today's lesson is on perfect squares. A perfect square is just a number that when you take the square root of it is a nice whole number. So remember, a whole number is a number that has no fraction or decimal part. So a first perfect square number that we can think about is the square root of 1, with 1 being our perfect square, because the square root of 1 is 1. The next perfect square is 4, because the square root of 4 is 2. Remember, because 2 times 2 is 4. Then we have square root of 9 is equal to 3. And this pattern continues. We'll get 1, 2, 3, 4. So our next perfect number is 16. And this goes on forever. So you might be wondering, well, what happens if I try to take the square root of a number that's not a perfect square? Like the square root of 2 that we saw in the intro to this video. We saw a square root of 2 is 1.41 and then a bunch of decimals after. So this is obviously not a whole number, so we know 2 is not a perfect square. And this goes with any number that's not a perfect square. So if we look at the square root of 10, we get 3.16, etc., etc. So there are ways to calculate and simplify these kind of square roots, and that will be at a later date. So for now, the only square roots that we will be looking at are perfect ones, like square root of 144 is going to be 12. All right, again, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Hope you're learning something, hoping you're enjoying them at least a little bit. Remember to keep checking Cougar Campus and keep up with the Delta Maths. Thank you.